Yeah, man. As I was saying, yeah. So yeah, I see the trend between the careers of these guys where they sort of like, I don't want to say unfairly, but indeed they are pulled out of their careers for some time. And when Mayweather went away, there were a lot of talks that, the fact that he was actually in a hole for so many days like that, he was actually going to come back and he wasn't going to be the same. The guy went there and he came back just like any other guy who went to prison. He doesn't believe it was a rehab. He just believes that it was just a torture. But nevertheless, he paid his price, came back. But the difference between him and the other guys that I've spoken about is obviously the period they spent away from fighting, and I think the attitude as well, because when he came back there, he had the positive attitude. And here he is. People are more talking about his success now, about his downfall when he went into the hole. I think he's a great man. I think he's a winner in general in life, like he says. Yeah, but again, he's got his own flaws. I don't really believe in how he carries himself around other people, but in any case, it's always been the case because we are grown up thought that in order for a person to be a respected person in our communities, you had to go to school, you had to hold back, and you had to try to be diplomatic when you're talking to people. You had to try to sound humble. You had to not always give yourself credits for your achievements because eventually it starts sounding like you are arrogant. And Mayweather doesn't live on that code. Mayweather goes in there and he tells everyone that he knows he's great. This guy is comparing himself to the greatest of all time. And guess what? He's got the right because he's doing the same thing they were doing. He's taking the same punches they were taking. And he's throwing the same punches inside the same ring with the same hitting and the hate and the love, just like any of those guys that were fighting in the past. So this is the guy that is setting his own barometer. He doesn't wait for people to say, oh, this guy is so great, he's comparable with the fighters of the past, he's the best ever. No one's gonna say that to you. If you remember, this thing started to Muhammad Ali. No one gave Muhammad Ali's the alliance of being the greatest of all time. Ali, when he beat Sonny Liston, he said, I'm the greatest, I'm pretty, I'm beautiful, I'm the greatest of all time, I'm the greatest of all time, I shocked the world. That's what he said. And even today, people, when they talk about him, you're going to hear them saying that, are you talking about the greatest of all time? Are you talking about the greatest? And if you are in boxing community, you won't say, who are you talking about? You know that they refer to Muhammad Ali. That's what Mayweather is doing. He calls himself TBE, the best ever. And trust me, when the time passes, when it's all said and done, when someone says TBE, they're going to know that they're talking about Mayweather. And the next generations will grow up not only knowing but believing that Mayweather was TBE because their fathers, because their parents or whoever always referred to him as TBE. That's just what it is. As simple as that. Was Mayweather the greatest of all time? Hey, I don't know, man. I don't know. Did he fight Jack Johnson? Did he fight Tappan? Did he fight Joe Louis? He hasn't fought those guys. So how How do you categorize the guy as the best ever if there are so many competitors he hasn't fought that were arguably better than him? I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. I don't know. So, I don't know, man. People don't see what's coming for them, man. They overreacting. They say this guy is cocky. They say this guy. You know what? That's why, man, when at some point Muhammad Ali was asked, why do you have to be so loud? That is why when Coswell in CBS Boxing, Coswell, one of the best boxing analysts of our past, man, he once interviewed him and he said, you know what, people really think that you are great in what you're doing. People think that you're really good in boxing, but people's got issues with the way you carry yourself around them. You are so talkative, you are so loud. Don't you think you should take it easy so that you can even get more fan base? And Muhammad Ali's response was simple. He said, when you are as great as me, it is impossible to be quiet. Boom, just like that. That's what he said. Can you argue that he's lying? Well, you can only argue if he's lying when you are as great as him. And you're not. You know in your heart you're not. These guys are cut from different cloths, man. They're not like us. They're not like us. Boxing is something else. Boxing is hard. Boxing is sacrifice. Human body was never meant to be taking punches. It was never meant for taking punches, man. I'm telling you, we would have had fucking punching bags in our foreheads. We would have been born with punching bags in our foreheads if we were meant to take punches. We're fragile. Human body is fragile for boxing. But in any case, we're doing it. People think that actually the boxing gloves are to make sure that you absorb the heat. And boxing gloves are to protect the hands. Only the hands of your opponent. Not